Okay, so a lot of you know me as the person that says what's on my mind, and when I do it in a way that comes out funny or trying to be funny. This is something that I wanted to talk about for a while, but you don't know how to talk about it because people want to jump down your throat because they're automatically assuming that you're going against what they're thinking or what they believe, and that's completely not it for me. But I don't know how to talk about things without using an immense amount of adult adjectives, and that can be offensive and not make what I'm trying to say come off clearly, and it would make it seem like I'm trying to be funny. Um, I have a brother, and he's a younger brother, and the one thing I can say about my brother is that when it comes to having to put things into words, he is grade A perfection at it. Um, so basically, this video is just me quoting what he decided to use as a Facebook status because it is the best way, and I would agree with it 130,000%. And it's the best way to come across like an adult about situations that are going on and basically the world we're living in. So I am literally just going to read to you word for word what he posted, and you can take it how you want, but it really isn't anything separating anyone. It's literally just something to stop and make you think about everything from every perspective, because that's usually where all the stuff comes from, is the fact that nobody wants to stop and put themselves in someone else's shoes. They automatically want to assume that they know what they're talking about and their soapbox is higher than everyone else's, and so they're going to keep speaking on it. Don't get me wrong, I love a good soapbox rant, but I also know how to stop for a minute, put myself in someone else's shoes, understand where they're coming from, see if they have any grounds to stand on, and work around that. Whereas other people like to just go off and bash other people. Hence the reason why I wanted to read this entire status verbatim so you can see what I'm talking about. So, here is his status, the status by my brother, that nails everything that's going on directly on the head. And it's super great and powerful, and I think he's amazing for the way that he's able to get his feelings out in a way that just makes you stop for a minute and like really think. So here it is. This country is just begging for racial segregation in a hate-fueled world. It seems we love it, or that we can't get enough. We want to hate people and each other for whatever minuscule difference we can dig up. We absolutely refuse to fight the same fight. This country is comparable to the story of the Titanic. Think about it. We are this grand, massive, beautiful ship that the world has never seen before, a symbol of opportunity, a gateway, just as the Titanic was. However, instead of focusing on the fact that we are all given this wonderful opportunity to ride on the ship together as equals, we first have to segregate each other for one reason or another. Then what happens? Our Titanic finds itself once again on course for a head-on collision with a cultural disaster. But instead of devising a plan in which all passengers of the ship can chip in to help get us through, we begin locking each other away and putting our own kind first, pushing those that are different to the ground for the betterment of ourselves, our own people. Well, soon enough, it's too late. We've crashed. Our ship slams its starboard side right into an irreversible racial, cultural, and social iceberg, splitting this indestructible country in half. Now what? Sure, a few of the powerful get away unscathed and float off into the moonlight on their hate-pondering, media-powered dinghy, but the rest of us, we eventually have to stop fighting, pushing and degrading each other, and jump. Leap side by side into the waters of a now equally screwed, cold, and frozen country. At that point, tired and beaten down, we will make one last effort to swim towards any floating piece of hope we can find. Some of us will make it, some won't. We will grab on and look up at the others clinging to the same broken pieces of hope, but who will see? Surprisingly, it won't be your people that you thought you were fighting for when the country sank. It will be that very person you were fighting against, that same person you hated because of their race or religious beliefs. It will be that very person you despise, that you find yourself experiencing the same terrible situation. This is where the decision will be made. Will you continue to fight over the last remaining piece of good that our Titanic has to offer? Or will you work together to kick and paddle and fight until you reach safety? Better days together. There's a serious problem in our country right now. Please don't be swayed simply by what you are hearing on TV. Help each other out, discuss, debate, and resolve issues peacefully, or just accept the difference and walk away. Don't fuel the fire. That is what he wrote. I think it's the best way to understand everything that's going on. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Share it if you will. I think it needs to get out there. It's not pointing fingers at anybody but all of us. So, like I said, do what you will with this. I think it was amazing. I think it was much needed to be heard, and I'm glad that that came from my bloodline, and I was able to share it with you guys. So just stop and think for a second. Is it really worth it? Like, what point is it to fight against people? Because that's what we are. No matter what racial, cultural belief system you were born into, every single one of us is a people.